Hi, friends. Dawn here at the Soul Goals Podcast. I'm so glad you're joining in today for Soul Goal number 47. We are on week 47 of 52 wonderful soul growth exercises. My good friend Dixie and I are undertaking each one of these exercises each week and then coming to you, our viewers, our listeners, and reporting on all the good, all the bad, all the stuff in between, things that we liked about it, things that we didn't like about it, and our experiences. Therefore, you get a first row seat or front row seat rather to what it is that might help you. So you can go, like that. Yeah, I think that's something I can incorporate in my life. It's going to help me be a little better version of myself. Or, yeah, definitely don't resonate with that one. Probably not on my bucket list of things to do. But even more than that, I think too, some of the things that trigger us and that challenge us the most are the things that we really need to do. I'm speaking from human experience right here. So much of that experience. So, a lot of these challenges this year have been a little bit uncomfortable for myself and for Dixie. I know she would tell you that, sometimes doing the uncomfortable actually is what we need to unearth different pieces of ourselves to then be able to grow in our soul, to grow rather in our life, to grow rather in our experiences, and ultimately to grow in our relationships so we can better connect to ourselves, to our friends, to our family, to our coworkers, to the element of humans that we are, because that's what we're wired to do. We're wired to connect. So without further ado, number 47, we're calling this one Passing Pages. And ultimately what this is giving one of your favorite books away that has meant something specific to you, something special to you, giving it away to somebody else. And maybe even writing an inscription on the inside of it or leaving a handheld note within it that says why it's important to you that you're giving it to this person, or what the meaning of this book was for you, so that the individual you're gifting this book to can go, yeah, okay, I'm going to watch out for that. Or, wow, this is really what it mattered to my friend. And wow, I feel seen. I feel acknowledged. That's what we're here to do. See people, acknowledge people, connect with that element. So, the book that I ultimately gave away has been a couple years ago, actually, and I wanted to go back and reflect on it. So I did some journaling on it this week. And I want to tell you that I've bought probably 5 copies of this and given them away over the course of the last 4 years now. And I have loved giving each one of these books away each time. But I want to go back to the first time that I gave this book away. I actually gave it to a friend of mine that was a training partner in a great CrossFit gym that I used to coach at here in the Middle Tennessee area. He was actually, it could have been my son. He was getting ready to ship off to boot camp. And the name of the book that I therefore have gone on to buy more copies of and to gift to people is called Make Your Bed: Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World Around You, or Maybe the World, by Admiral William H. McRaven. And William H. McRaven was a Navy SEAL. And in this book, he shares his experience and shares different lessons that he learned in his way about discipline, about resilience, and about leadership. And really, these ultimate things are stuff that we can all apply, whether you're in boot camp, whether you're a Navy SEAL or not. When I gave this book away to my friend, it was really meaningful. And I wrote a nice little inscription on the inside saying, don't give up. Give it all you got every day. Shoot for the stars. You've got it. All the positives that I could think about. And I'll obviously ended it with, and don't forget to make your bed. I think let's go back to that point here in a second. But Leviticus, you've not heard about this book. I would strongly encourage you to look this up. Admiral McRaven gave a commencement speech at the University of Texas back in 2014. Yeah, and the speech went viral. So it's something you can find online. And basically, it's drawing from his experiences of being a Navy SEAL. And the book, therefore, talks about concrete ways to jump in and simple tasks and lessons that we can learn for our daily life to be able to connect with other people, to be able to be the best version of ourselves. And it's his personal stories about real world, different military missions that he had been on But I think the cool thing about it was how it can apply to all of us, no matter what your motive is, no matter what your work is, no matter where you are in life. Some of the key lessons that he included in the book, just kind of do a little tease here for it. Start with simple tasks, ultimately, like making your bed, and it's going to build discipline and momentum for your day. Don't go it alone because success ultimately depends on teamwork and trust. And I'm just going to let you know that's what we're here for. We're here to team up with other people and ultimate connection. And it takes trusting other people. And sometimes we got to step off of that curb and really, embrace those team members around us and embrace a trust factor that we may not have been able to do in the past. Also, hey, accept that life is not fair. Life isn't fair. You got to keep moving forward, though. Take risks with courage, even when failure is possible. I think that's a big takeaway. Take risks with courage. Step forward, take the risk, even though you know there's a 50-50 shot of it going forward or it not working for you. And also face your adversity head on because learning from any kind of failures that you have is really important instead of being defeated by the failures that you may have or defeated by not trying in the first place. And ultimately, never quit because no matter how tough the challenge gets, you can get to the other side if you take it one piece at a time. So that's the premise of Make Your Bed, Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World by Admiral William H. McRaven. Please check out his speech. It's that University of Texas commencement speech from 2014. So, so, so good. So tell me, why is it important? We get back to square one about passing pages. Giving something of yourself that has had meaning to you connects you to other people. It's a piece of you, right? Giving something that's meaningful away and in a book form is, yeah, it's probably pretty easy for us to do, but it's also a springboard for maybe having a deeper reflection about things that we can do for other people that might not be as simplistic as just handing them a book that we wrote a note inside. So maybe you consider it a springboard for other opportunities to be able to give of yourself in a deeper way that maybe you've thought of but have shied away from. And, taking that risk with courage, stepping off the curb with courage. Also, books help us to connect. So if I have dog eared and highlighted different things in the book, which I did actually, the book that I gave to my friend who was getting ready to go into boot camp. And interestingly, he was going to the Navy and he wanted to become a SEAL. So it was even more prevalent that I gave that book to him. But it really helps us to connect and spark deeper conversations. And I think for me, when I gave that to him, I wanted to let him know outside of just writing an inscription on the inside, how meaningful I felt our relationship had become, our friendship and the kinship that we had created within this four-wall gym community, which like all of us have. So let me go down a side road real quick. If you haven't done CrossFit, yeah, you can do CrossFit. Everybody can. We had an 80-year-old in the gym that was doing CrossFit. We had a 10-year-old in the gym that was doing CrossFit and everything in between. And the kinship and the connection that we all experienced was amazing. So when we went to send this sweet young man off into his next season of life and his challenges ahead, it was really important for us all to say, we got you. We're here. We're behind you. And in sharing this book, it helped me to let him know, hey, I see you. You're valuable and I believe in you. I think we all really, really need to hear that at different points. That I believe in you. You've got this. Also, passing along books is an important way to create these conversations and help to spark different insights, maybe different perspectives. If you think about book clubs, I think that's ultimately what they were started for. And maybe not, but my take on it, my 2 cents, is that when you're in a club of people and you're reading one thing that you're evaluating, it's such a benefit because no two people are the same. Our wiring is completely different, and the way we think about things may be slightly similar. We may connect with people that we feel really, really passionate about, or that we feel really close to because we've had the same experiences. But ultimately, we're not the same people. We're not the same in everything that we do. And then if you go to the other side of the fence, you can connect with people that think completely differently from you. And I think that's a really valuable thing for all of us to know and to understand is that in connection with other people, we don't necessarily have to agree with them for a connection to occur, but respectfully understanding where it is that they're coming from and hearing them is super valuable to not just them, but to you as well. There may be pieces that you haven't thought about in a story or in their insight or in their information that could really be an eye-opening situation for you, or that can turn your wheel to drive down a different road you maybe hadn't thought of or hadn't looked at close enough. And ultimately, I will tell you, I've never had an experience where I haven't eh, gotten something that I needed at the time that I was ready to have, ready to hear, ready to experience. Even the dark stuff, even the yucky stuff, even the hard, grungy, bottom of the barrel stuff. I think a lot of times we are sheltered from the things that are, our subconscious is processing and is, assimilating, if you will. And then when our conscious mind has this opportunity to step deeper into it, you have to trust that that information comes to you in the time that it comes to you for a reason. Doesn't have to be easy, but maybe that information popped up in your brain a year after something happened. And then, I can trust that this is a time for me to work through this. So if we're thinking about passing on an important book that meant something to us, that's what I'm really ultimately talking about. Trusting that the right person will get the message that needs to be gotten and then letting it go. And understanding too that it's creating that insight, that compassion, and that connection with another individual by showing them that you're valuable, you matter. It goes across the board when we give things away to people that are meaningful to us. I know we've done that earlier in the year about giving something that has meant something to us to somebody else and explaining to them why it is that we're doing this. Sometimes giving certain things away can be really hard because it creates this layer of vulnerability for us to relate to other people. It's something that a lot of times we don't really want to dive into because it could be reminiscent of old wounds, of old mistrust, of old hurts, of old trip ups that we've had in our life. But knowing that we have the courage to step off the curb and be 1% vulnerable today, maybe a little bit more than we were yesterday, gives you the ability to know that you are capable. And whether you fail or whether you succeed, right? There are two sides to it. It doesn't matter because you've put yourself out there and, right, you've made your bed this morning. You can tailor it right back to the book by making your bed every morning. And this was a podcast episode that we did earlier in the year, making your bed every day. It creates something tangible. It's a springboard. And if you can find something that you can do every day that can be a tangible situation, it will help you create more meaning. It sounds really simplistic, but it's really true. I will challenge you to give that one a shot, right? And I'm going to challenge you right now to go to your library in your house, to go to your bookshelf in your living room, to go to the books that are piled up on your nightstand beside your bed. Look at a book that has had meaning for you, that you're ready to pass on to the next right space so that it can have meaning for someone else. And write a little note inside, handwrite a little note card, stick it in where you maybe left off reading, highlight different passages, dog ear different pages, and lovingly give that manuscript to somebody that you feel could use it today. It's very simplistic, but yet it's very profound. And I promise you, the person receiving that book will look at you and go, thank you for thinking of me in a really deep sense. That feeling and that connectedness that those kind of things bring to us all as a community are so, so wonderful, so beautiful, and such a nice gift that we don't always get. So being vulnerable, stepping outside of our shell, stepping outside of our box, and yeah, maybe giving something away in that capacity. Yeah, it's important. It creates that connection and you can do it, guys. I want to remind you that we all have a story. And I also want to remind you that every story matters. I'd love for you to go out today, find that book, pass it along, and make your story count.